Broadcasting live from the Business RadioX studios in Atlanta, Georgia, it's time for Atlanta Business Radio, spotlighting the city's best businesses and the people who lead them.
Lee Cantor here, another episode of Atlanta Business Radio, and this is going to be a fun one. Today we are joined by LaFarris Risby. Welcome, LaFarris.
Thank you. How are you today?
I am doing well. Tell us about your work at LaFarris Inc. How are you serving folks?
I'm servicing folks two ways right now. I am servicing folks through a radio show called Dare to Dream Radio Show, and I'm also working with parents and other members of the family through just going online, being able to be a help with them with their childcare and parenting needs right now.
Now, what kind of issues do you find that parents are having with their children now that everybody is kind of working out of the house primarily?
Primarily, they're finding ways of how to try to make their life less stressful and be more productive while they're in this age of working directly from home and having their children out of school and out of childcare services.
So now, are there any tips you have for parents who maybe this is the first time they've ever done this?
If this is the first time that they've ever had to do this, and I'm sure that about 50% of all Americans are having this problem right now, some of the things that I'm telling them to be able to do is not be so hard on themselves. And one of the things I'm telling them is to make a schedule. Make a daily schedule of how your day is going to transpire and get up with the first thing in the morning is just like you'd normally be going to work and then normally be going to school or daycare. Have a morning meeting, giving them some updates about what's going on and how they're going to be able to do their day and what they can expect from that day. And use some of this time to be able to train your children, your older children, for some of the things and chores that you usually have on your hand most of the time with the cooking and doing things like laundry and some of those things, and have some of the formative time with your child throughout the day, giving them those choices that they're going to be doing throughout the day while you're working on your day, while you're going on about your day at work.
So now, how did you come up with your game plan and your business? How did that evolve?
That evolved through, I have a childcare facility in Kansas, and once that our governor had shut our state down, I was getting a lot of calls from our parents, and I wanted to keep them engaged with their children throughout the day, how they can help keep them with their studies and homeschooling and training and doing all the things they needed to do and be proactive while they were productive with getting their things did for their jobs, or if they were stay-at-home entrepreneurs.
So now, how did you get into the childcare business?
I got in the childcare business over 20 years ago. I got to my home with $50 and no place to live and started a childcare center, and then we just evolved from there. Now,
in your childcare center, there's a lot of competition. How did you stand out from the others?
Because we have more than just a childcare facility. We work directly with our parents with some different programs. We have a warm spirit nurturing room, which is a lactation room where parents can actually come in and they can be able to spend that quality time with their infant, doing that breastfeeding in their very first year of life with them. And we have an exercise room where we allow our team members and our parents to come in while we provide services to the children. They're able to be able to do the exercise and the things that they need to do to be productive at home.
Now, when you started, you've had a kind of a rough start to your career and to maybe the beginning part of your adult life. Can you talk about how you overcame that?
I basically came home and started with no money. I got there with $50, no place to live, and I had two children that I had to figure out how we were going to survive. And so what I did at the time, I did a SWOT analysis. 20 years ago, I had no idea what a SWOT analysis was. So what I did was I sat at the table. I put a piece of paper on the table. I made me 4 squares. I did likes, dislikes, what I'm good at, what I'm not good at. And I looked at all the common denominators because I had worked with children and families before because I had a 1 pound, 9 ounce infant when I was 15 years old. So I knew what it was like to work with children. I enjoyed working with children. And I looked for those common denominators and I said, okay, this is what I'm good at. This is what I enjoy doing and I'm going to start. And that's exactly what I did. I started with just what I had in my hands.
Because that's really the only thing you could control is the stuff that was right in front of you, right?
Exactly. That was the only thing I had a control over. And I knew that I needed to have a job. I needed to be able to put food on the table. And I had 2 small children that I needed to take care of.
So now, what made you kind of take on this challenge with this can-do attitude rather than going, woe is me, look at this terrible situation, this is impossible, everybody's against me? How did you motivate yourself?
I had 2 children that I had to feed. Now, for me, I always believed in prayer. So that was one of the things that kept me going was my faith and knowing that it had to be something better than this. I knew that my mother had died that I could live, and I knew that she would want better for me than what was right there in front of me. So I had that thought in my head that, hey, I can do this. I had to keep telling myself. And even at one point in my life, I wrote on my mirror, how bad do you want it? And that kept motivating me and inspiring me to move forward.
Now, what do you tell the people that maybe come from a similar background and have their own challenges that feel like it's impossible?
I wrote a book called Dare to Dream, and I tell people, I dared to dream. I had faith to believe that the impossible was possible. And at this day and age, any and everything is possible if you can just believe it.
Now, talk about the book. What was the impetus to write the book?
It was, for me, it was more of a way to get past some of the things that had happened to me in my life, more of a freeing or more of a cleansing and more of a driving forward and moving forward. And for me, it was about me losing my mother at a young age, me becoming a teenage mom, me being in an abusive relationship, and putting all those things together and saying, okay, there's power behind the things that you go through in your life. And I used those powers and those struggles to propel me into the things that I'm doing now. And they not only propelled me, but they also gave me wind beneath myself to push forward and to inspire other people to push forward and move past those struggles in life.
Now, were you able to have, I know you struggled when you started out, but were there people that stepped up and mentored you and helped you?
Along the way, I had help. And I tell people, no one sits on the island by themselves. There are always people that's going to be able to help you and mentor you. And that's where you start looking for those people that are aspiring in business as well. And so when I started this 20 years ago, the World Wide Web wasn't as phenomenal as it is now. So there's a lot of things I didn't know, but I also looked for those people, and I started joining different places, different businesses, look for the Chamber of Commerce, look for different people that aspire you. I had a young lady that went to church with me, and I wanted to start my childcare center. I asked her, how do you do this? How do you start? Who do I get in contact with? And she gave me some names of people to get in contact with. I decided I wanted to go back to school and get more education where I could be able to understand development of children, development of families, and to be able to aspire to be able to do more. So as I learned more, I did more.
Now, when you're working with your clients now as you work as a business strategist and a coach, what are some of the excuses you hear some of your clients say that you're like, look, I've had a lot worse than that you can overcome that?
A lot of it is a mindset. Is a mindset. I can't. I don't know how. There's nobody to help me. There's a lot of resources out here, free and also paid resources. You have got to want more in order to do better. You've got to step back and stop saying what I can't do. Look at it from a different perspective. Not what can I do? What do I have in my hand right now that I have control over that I can take a step forward in my dream or in my goal?
Now, why do you think so many people feel like they almost feel helpless and hopeless when there are so many resources available, especially like you said today with the internet being so powerful and so much robust, good information out there? Why do you think so many people feel hopeless and helpless?
It's a mindset. Woe is me. It's all about your mindset, what you think you're capable of doing. If you say you can't do it and you tell yourself that long enough, of course you won't be able to do it. But if you tell yourself you can do it and you keep striving, every day is a new day. And it does. Every day comes with a different challenge. But you also have to have a mindset that you're going to overcome this challenge. And you may not always understand, and you may not always find something that day. But if you keep moving and you keep asking questions, even if some people say, well, I feel stupid when I ask questions. No question is stupid. The only question is stupid is the one that you don't ask. You don't know what you don't know until you ask.
Right. And how can
sometimes you don't even know what to ask because you don't know what to ask.
But then ask that. Just say, what am I missing? What should I know?
Exactly. And believe me, somebody will at some point will say, okay, well, let's try it this way. Maybe that didn't work yesterday, but let's try this today.
Now, for you, in your life, I would imagine that you found more than one person that's kind of stepped up and helped, and you've been able to succeed on your own kind of strength and also on the help from others. I think people don't appreciate there's so many people out there that want to help people succeed, and that you just got to be open to that. Do you find that that there are a lot of people that want you to succeed if you kind of just open your arms to them?
Yes, I found I'm part of Goldman Sachs 10,000 small businesses. I'm part of Million Women Mentors. So it's a lot of different organizations and things out there. You just have to be willing and don't be so withdrawn. Be willing sometimes to put yourself out there. And I know sometimes that's scary because I've been afraid. But you've got to push through that, and you've got to ask yourself, how bad do I want this? Am I willing to put myself out just a little bit to ask these questions? You know, because people, sometimes you'll feel like, oh, that's a stupid question. I shouldn't ask that. But there's no stupid questions. You have to sometimes put yourself out there a little bit.
Now, talk about the 10,000 small businesses, the Goldman Sachs program. How did you even become aware of that, and how did you get involved in that program? Because that's a big deal.
It is. I tell people I use Google quite a bit. And I was working with a mentor, and a mentor said, hey, I heard about this program. Why don't you check it out? And I said, oh, sure. Let me check it out. So I went on and I Googled it, and I looked it up, the information, and I put in the application. And I had to pitch to the organization. But once I did that and I saw the potential of what the cohort could do, and you are a lead among these 10,000 other businesses that you connect to that have information and a wealth of knowledge that can pull you in and help you be able to decide, hey, let me see which direction. If you're looking for something in marketing, they have marketing experts. If you're looking for something that you need for cyber security, they have somebody in that area. So you become part of this elite organization that helps you grow your business, where you can then help other people grow their business.
And it's one of those symbiotic relationships where everybody's helping everybody move forward.
Yes, it's one of those, you meet people that are willing to help you reach your goal while you're also helping them be able to reach their goal.
Right. A win-win-win all the way around. That's fantastic.
Yes.
So now, you spend a lot of your time nowadays, promoting the book, promoting the radio show, and you're speaking, and you're doing coaching and things like that. Are you still have the childcare business? Yes, I still have the childcare business, but I have my son came back and got out of the military, out of the Air Force, and he's also my CEO now. And my daughter is part of the business, and she is part of the education component where she has her degree in curriculum building. And my goal was to have my family be able to work with me. And these are the children that started with me years ago when I got there with $50 and no place to live, to now they're able to move the company forward. Because my goal was, don't miss the mark while you're trying to make your mark. And the decision that you make today will affect your tomorrow. Those are two things that I live by. Yeah, that's great quote. Great inspirational thinking there. Now, if somebody wanted to learn more about what you got going on and learn from you, and where can they go? They can go to, the book is at daretodreamstory.com. And then I have a website, LaFarrisRisby.com. And they can email me at info@LaFarrisRisby.com. And LaFarris is LaFarris. Risby is Risby. And they can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn at LaFarris Risby. Good show. Good stuff, LaFarris. Congratulations on all your success. Thank you so much, and thank you for having me today. All right. This is Lee Cantor. We will see you all next time on Atlanta Business Radio.